Book 1, Bazur's Plot, Chapter 30, Part 2 and 31. Chapter 30, Part 2, Split Crew in the Second Woods. We arrived what looked like a clearing in the woods. It was huge. I stopped about midway. "Stop!" I yelled. Tara immediately shushed me and said, "Shh, no need to yell. That carries too far. What do you see?" I looked around what looked like a round big stones and replied, those are living ones. All those 5 big stones. They must be big creatures since they are huge. Just like now." Everyone looked at the stones and Tara said quietly, "More bears maybe? They said there are missing tribe members in plural." We looked at each other and we were little more than concerned. More bears were still bear related and their sizes were huge, like house size. And if they did not have food, it was really dangerous to wake them up even just in the normal morning. And just the thought how they would react when uncursed is unimaginary. They could be really grumpy. They also are super strong and we just could not wake them without help from Stonehide and Garnock. Tara said, "Let's think. We have about a couple hours left walking. Then it is going to be about dinner time and we'll arrive at our meeting point. If we just had more burns here." It was such a bizarre moment. I raised my hand toward the end of the clearing, the big opening clearing, toward the north side. There were 2 huge black things coming toward us very fast. In front of them, Tikko was running. 2 other capritors were visible for a moment, but they turned back to the woods. They probably stayed back scouting the surroundings. I could not even speak. Everyone started to laugh and cry. I don't really know which one. It was such a relief to see them. They skidded beside us. They looked confused to see us standing there laughing and crying. Also, Tikko asked Capiera, "What are you doing here?" We had called more capritors to help when Tikko and Morbearns had left to transport Papagodes and others to the palace. Tara and Capriera explained to Tikko and Morbearns what's going on and why we were more than short-handed. And then I signed toward the big rocks, or maybe there's actually 5 big ones and smaller one, and I said, "Those are living ones. Maybe these are some of the Morbearns that are missing." Stonehide and Garnock went pale and totally silent and looked at the stones. Garnock said, "They are about the size. It has been so far that the bigger creatures have been bigger cursed objects. Those are about my size. Good that you did not try to awaken them. A bear is not happy to be woken without food. It is not safe for any of you to be close when they are awoken. That is for me and Stonehide to deal. Also, they have never seen other humans than Bazur and will not trust you right away. Good thing White Goddess gave us this food. I just now saw huge loads of food on their backs and that they now try to set on the ground." Garnock continued, "This was for us to have extra, but we need this now for the Morbearns waking up." Tara said quickly, "Not to worry, we have food arranged on the way since we cannot carry it all." Garnock said, I think you will now continue to the woods there, so you're hidden, and Sarah would stay here and Tikko with me and Stonehide. Once she has awakened all what we think is Morbearns, Tikko will ride her to safety, and you can all continue to the meeting point." I looked at them. Otherwise good. but I have to scan the rest of the field before that for living ones, Garnock replied. Okay, so go now with them and walk with them, and then you ride back also. Tiko, is that all right with you? Tiko nodded and said, I stay here for the moment and eat first. I will catch up with you. If it was no problem, since the pile of food more bears had carried looked like it was half a party itself. We started to walk again, but this time a little faster, since there was extra task to be done. There was a few cursed ones, but they were thankfully smaller ones, and a few more fairies, Tara said. We used to have many fairy tribes, but since Bazur attacked, all fairies were now in one secret place. So we need to take them there. It explained why here in this lovely big clearing there were also fairies. I imagine this would have been a very lovely place to fairies to live. All awakened ones were quickly given little remedy and then added to earlier carriers, where other fairies were holding on to the new ones and helping them to stay on board during the walk. It was interesting to see all kind of different types of fairies. Some were physically bigger, and flick-fin girlkins could not take them, but some were very small. Well, we'll need to see that at the meeting point. We reached to the woods, and I felt Tiko touching me and said, jump on my back. Let's go. I looked at him puzzled, and Tara laughed. Tara pushed me on Tiko's back, and gosh, we flew back to the middle of clearing. Wow, that was so fast, Tiko said. I said. Tiko hummed something back, and I could not hear. We arrived back to the rocks. I asked Tiko, Tiko, what if I stay here on your back and we start from the furthest one and you walk from there to here very slowly and I awaken them from here? Then I don't have to try to jump up back to your back and delay us. That will work, Tiko said. Garnock, Stonehide, are you ready? Stonehide replied, yes, we are ready. We keep the awakening moorburns off for you, and we have food here, so we are ready to wrestle also if needed. You two go, and we'll catch up with you as soon as we can. One of us may need to guide them back home since we are now hiding in different place than when they disappeared. Just tell our alpha, Deepclaw, that what happened when you see him. We nodded. Garnock said suddenly, uncurse the little one in the middle first. That will confirm, if it's our niece, that these all are then moorbears. Also, if the first big one happens to be her mom, and the baby is not awakened first, she will be very hard for us to handle. Tiko and I looked at each other, well as it's possible when you are on somebody's back, and nodded. It made total sense. Tiko moved in the middle of the stone and I started. It was a baby bear. Well, baby moorbear. It was still a huge size. Okay, Tiko, let's go on the left and I will try to be very quick for each of them, I said. Tiko moved and I started to uncurse them one by one. I said nothing in between, and every time Tiko saw the animal revealed, he moved forward. Stonehide and Garnock were beside us and kept giving food and growling explanations to the waking up moorbears who saw us wanted to attack. It took all Garnock's power, clearly fighting off a waking up moorbear, not to reach us. It was my last big rock, and immediately when it was uncursed, Tiko took off toward the woods so fast that the last moorbear did not even have his eyes open when we left. A lot of growling and noises were coming off the clearing, and then total silence. Tiko said, I think Garnock and Stonehide got food into their mouths now. I laughed. It was quite a scary situation. I slid down from the back of Tiko and started to walk again. I said to Tara, well, There were more barns, all right. Shall we go? We started to walk again on the woods path toward the last village. The trail was going more toward the west, toward the middle of the woodsy island. I noticed. I asked Tara, "Is there an area we need to check there on the east?" which we're kind of missing. She replied, "No, not really. It's not really nice area. It's not really possible to walk at all. Only flying creatures are there. But Bazur, for our scouting knowledge, has not been there at all, so we can ignore it." We continued to walk. This time it was thankfully eventless. Nothing was found. We arrived at the last village. It was a smaller one. I started to check on the houses again, and while others took rest and tried to revive and heal the awakened ones who we had with us, I felt like we all just knew what to do. I found nobody. I walked to the others. "There's nobody here," Tara said. "We are all exhausted after today's events anyway, so that is good news that no one was found here. But the meeting point is now about an hour away. I want to go there and see if we need to have one day rest there or something." Nobody said anything. We arranged ourselves to walking order and started to follow Tara again. The trail was now more hilly or mountainous. It was going higher up and then again dropping down. I kept looking left and right, up and down, to be sure not to miss anyone. About 10 minutes of walking, I stopped again, everyone. "Hey, here we have someone here on the tree. It's inside, about this height. How can I see it?" Everyone looked at me funny. Elaven said, "Can you lift me up on that branch? I can try to have a look inside." There was really a branch. It was kind of a backside of the big tree. And on top of that branch there was a small opening or cave into the tree. Elaven crawled in and soon started to back up. I helped to pull her from her legs. She came visible holding a small piece of log or something. "Did you mean this?" "There are 2 others like this, but smaller there." I said, "Yes. Can you get those 2 others, please?" Once all the 3 were out and Elaven was safely on the ground, I did uncurse them. It looked like 3 small squirrel-like looking small creatures, but there were also like small elf lookalikes. Very hard to describe. The creatures that I had seen were all so different than home on Earth that I just stopped asking what kind of species they were. Beautiful, that is for sure. They were beautiful, and in a very unique way. They looked like a small family. Elaven was giving a remedy to them, and they came up very quickly. Must be the species. Tara asked, "Do you want to come with us or do you want to stay here? I have not seen creatures like you in the other woods, so I don't know if you have hidden place at all." One of them said, "We want to stay here, but there should be a second family here in a tree nearby. If we can go see if they are also cursed." Tara said, "Sure, rest of you can go forward to the camp, but if Elaven, you could stay with me and Sarah. Caprierna, can you ask one of the Capritors to stay with us?" Everyone nodded and we split again. I helped the other 2 creatures back to their home. They were still a little weak. And then we followed the one creature to the other tree. And yes, I could tell from far away that inside there were also same thing. And they were cursed. I said, "Yes, they are also cursed. Can you go in and give those wooden pieces or rock pieces or what you find there, and I will uncurse them." There were altogether 7 of the same creatures. Elaven was helping them all them to recover with the medicine, and Tara lifted them back up to their home after they were awake and understanding what is happening. Tara again magically made food appear. We left plenty for both of the families. Few of them who were feeling better peeked out their homes when we started to leave. Tara asked the first family, who started to be quite normal already, "Are you sure you want to stay?" And the older one of them responded, "Yes, I understand from you that Bazur should be on his island now. We will first recover and then we will think if we will move, but the risk is everywhere. And we don't want to go underground. We want to stay on trees." Tara nodded. "Makes sense. Stay safe. We must go now. It was getting late and we needed to get to the camp." We saw Tora after 5 minutes walking toward us. I was so happy to see him. "Tora," I said, "good to see you." He took from Tara and Elavin the backpacks. I had forgotten those. We had still fairies with us. Flickfingurkins would need to transport them some point to fairyland. And we walked tiredly the last bit to our camp for the night. I sank onto the chair by the fire. It was much smaller fire than earlier. Jack replied to my unspoken question. "This will be the last time we have fire since Bazur may detect it." I nodded, too tired to do anything else. Chapter 31. What happened today? Sharing stories. Tora asked, "What happened today? You all look beaten." I saw Vespera rescued too, and so many others, a bunch of fairies. And where are your 2 Morburns? Tara looked at the worried Garnock. "Not to worry. We awakened 5 adults and 1 baby Morburn. So Stonehide and Garnock are dealing with the awakening bears." Deepclaw got on his feet. "Do they have food?" Tara said. "Actually, they just returned from Goddess Castle, so they had massive amount of food." Jack, Tora, Deepclaw, Tim, Tom were all godsmacken and said pretty much the same time, "What?" Tara laughed. In due time. I see you also have some rescued ones with you that are not transported home. I expect you have a good story to tell as well. First thing first." Deepclaw still looked worried, and I spoke slowly. "I am torn," and he spoke slowly. "I am torn. I want to see what's up, but you need also protection." Tara and Tora, who were kind of leading our crew, looked at each other, and Tora spoke. "I know you want to go see. What if you go see for a moment what's up, and then you return for the night?" Deepclaw looked relieved, and he did not need more encouragement, but he was gone before anyone could speak a word. Tara spoke. "Let's start with the most important thing. Food. Food for all of us. Also Capritors. And also these rescued ones. Let's arrange them to beds or such and give food for them too. And then we can share stories." We all got too busy arranging the rescued ones to hammocks and giving food and drinks and sitting down ourselves. It was quite a hassle when everyone was going back and forth, making sure to give and get food. Then silence fell, and only thing one could hear was munching food and sipping drinks. I had finished eating first, so I started to tell today's events to the group 1. Tora, Tim, Tom, and some Capritors who had not yet heard the full story were in awe that we had also found Papa Goddess and his entourage, and that had disappeared so long time ago. Jack obviously didn't understand what was going on, and Tora explained him shortly why it was such an amazing find. I explained that where we found Vespera and the male elf that we still had with us, and I think the fairy count was already close to a dozen. Fairies were doing a little bit better right now, but the curse was clearly badly affecting them. I also told how Tico took me at the speed of light, or that's how it felt, to the middle of the large clearing to awaken Morburn's missing members and back towards the safety, to the woods. After I got to the end of my story, I asked them, "So, I can see you have a bunch of rescues. What happened to you?" Dora looked at us. "Well, compared to you, we did have less events, but we found many creatures. The west side was expected to be more rocky and much more elevation, hills and so forth, so it took us a long time to walk the trails. There was also only one known village that we really knew about. That was the biggest village in the whole second woods, since it used to collect all kind of creatures into one village on that side. It was a really lovely place by the mountain lake, but now, due to Bazur, it is at the moment deserted, Jack commented. "It was such a picturesque village. I wanted to stay there," he said, laughing. Dora continued. "We actually did not find anyone until we were at the village, but there we had quite many elves, different tribes. Maybe what had happened was different times Bazur had surprised like one member or two members or something like that. Also, we found a few other creature types. As you see, we brought them with us since we need to ask where to help to get them returned. We don't know by heart where their hiding places are, so we agreed with them that they will follow us until we know. They are doing quite well. Curse seems not to affect these different bigger creatures." I looked at them, and they were a little bigger than me. Well, I am only 160 centimeters, so pretty much most of the things, living or not, are bigger than me. And some of them were looking more like elves, but then again, giant elves. And some looked more like different animals. Some of them looked like those cartoon character Smurfs. Altogether, it seemed to have 9 rescues like this. I asked, "I don't see elves here. Did you already manage to get them for transport?" Dora nodded. "Yes, that was good, since there were almost 24 of them. Deep Claw helped Dora to the closest underground gate. Seems those elves have the best and awesomest network ever, here supporting all of the rescues, but also hiding all of the elves. I hear that it does cover most of the Myria, except where Bazur lives, obviously, and only the north part of the first woods." "Wow," I said. You have an impressive network then. I'm happy since it helps to get us all the recovering elves easily to safety and home. We have here also one male elf that we did not yet get transported to. We were running low on hands." Tom looked at me. "Yes, I talked to him already. He's okay to stay for the moment with us, and there is soon going to be a place I can take him when we are at the third wood side. I will take care of it tomorrow when we go forward." Dora nodded. "Thank you, Tom." Dora continued. "Other than that, we did not run into more cursed ones while coming to the meeting point. We arrived here, we made sure it's secure, and started the fire. The first part of your split group arrived, and I left to find you," I said. "It has been a very eventful day overall for us. We did really well, everyone. We found so many, and some that have been gone for a long time. We can be really proud of ourselves." Approving mumbling sounds were all over around the fire. Deep Claw arrived back at the camp. Everyone looked at him. Tara asked, "How is it going there with the Morberns?" Deep Claw sat down and was given huge portion of food right away. He said, "I had little food there, but I did not want to eat too much since those awakened moorburns have to be fed first. Thank you, I was still hungry. He ate for a moment and we filled him quickly in for Taraskurp adventure for the day. He nodded and said, Stonehide and Garnock had things under control. Once you were gone, all the moorburns did wake up somewhat calmly. It seems for us that the curse put us to hibernation, so we are super hungry even more than throughout the awakening, so even more than through normal awakening. They actually had almost finished all the food Goddess had given us. Thankfully we had food to feed the awakening moorburns. I think we are still missing a few moorburns anymore, but I think they will be at the north. That is where they were last seen or heard going. Anyway, it was good that I went there. Since I'm the alpha, I gave them orders to leave human Sarah and Jack alone to protect them at all times, not to hurt them in any situation. There was what I could call lively discussion, since their experience with humankind has been only Bazur. Jack and I nodded, and Jack said, well, that is just a natural thing, that they don't really trust us. Deepclaw continued. Some of them saw Sarah, you were awakening the last ones, and then riding Tico to the woods. Also, nobody rides Capritors, so that was also enforcing my message that we are now in a rescue mission together, and you two are not dangerous to us, but blessing and rescue. Obviously, they have not seen you yet, Jack, and we need to introduce you to more bears, but for now, they will go to our home to recover. Stonehide will join us tomorrow morning, and Garnock will take them home and then return to find us where we are. Tico said, yes, we Capritors will see Garnock returning and help to find you exactly. We are quite far from you when scouting to be sure there's no danger coming, so it's convenient for guiding members back to you. Deepclaw said, I told Garnock to leave only at 10, so we have left already and will not run into us at any point. It is better just to guide them home now for fully to recover. It was getting late and the sun was setting. All the hammocks were out and I felt tired, already to go to sleep. Although I was no longer drained, so I congratulated myself that I had learned to balance my energy better and also eat enough frequently to support the mission. Tara said, let's go to bed let's go now to bed and rest. Let's figure out quickly in the morning how we can do transport for the ferries at least. The rest are going to follow us anyway to the other side of the river. Everyone started to go forward toward the hammocks or settlement where they would sleep. Moorburns did not use hammocks since they would break them. They always want some place nearby to sleep. Capritors did sometimes use hammocks. I had seen them to using them, but sometimes they were using alternating place and they were also rotating to be scouting and resting. I don't even know how many Capritors we had now, but I felt safe when I knew they were there. I saw Jack climbing up to the next hammock, to the hammock next to me. I asked, how are you doing today? He replied, I am so excited today. We rescued so many. Also, I don't feel drained like earlier, so that helps. What about you? I replied, yeah, me too. I feel the same. But it was a really eventful and long day for me. We smiled at each other and laid down in our hammocks. I heard water close by. I could not see it, but I could also smell it. It was a lovely water smell. You know, if you know how that smells. For me, it felt home and safe.